Hey everyone, I just wanted to go through the flow chart with you so you can start using it. I see some people have started using it. That's great. Um, if not, then here is a small tutorial to help, and hopefully this will work well for us. Um, so the first question, here is the Google form, and basically you just go through and answer the questions, okay? And so this one is there a metal in this compound? So I'm going to use this example right here. And so if we look at this, it is got zinc and it's got oxygen in it. And so it's asking you if there's a metal. And if you look right here, there is zinc. And so we know that it is a metal because it's on the left side of the stair step. Okay, so this light green, that's the stair step there. And so it is definitely on the left-hand side. So we say yes, and we say next. Okay. And then the next question is asking you what type of metal is it? So the monovalent and polyvalent, it's just the word that your curriculum used for this. So is it monovalent? Does it have a native charge? So is it one of the main group metals? Or is it aluminum, zinc, or silver? So those are the three exceptions, okay? And then, or is it polyvalent? It is a transition metal that can have multiple charges. So we know that definitely looking at this one, it is zinc. So we pick monovalent. Okay, next. It tells you that this is an ionic compound. How exciting. Okay, and now we look at it and it says how many elements, and each capital letter denotes an element. So we look and count how many capital letters are in there. So there's 1, 2 that we see. Okay, so 2. All right. Our ionic compound is binary, and that means 2 elements, kind of like a bicycle has 2 wheels. For the first element, which should always be the metal, you simply name the metal. So if we look at this one, we would know that zinc is the metal. So we could write zinc. And then for the second element, you take the root of the element and change the ending to "ide." Okay. So here in our example, it actually tells us what oxygen becomes. It becomes oxide. So our element, our chemical formula name is now zinc oxide. And that's it. So we can submit another response and it starts over again. Okay. Let's do this one right here, this K2CO3. So we find potassium on our periodic table. It's definitely on the left-hand side, so it's definitely a metal. So we say yes. What type of metal is it? So potassium, we found it in group 1, so it's going to be monovalent. This is an ionic compound. Yay! Okay, and so we would say there's definitely 3 capital letters because the K, the C, and the O are all capital. So there's 3 or more. And we would say next. So this is an ionic compound made of a metal and a polyatomic ion. So poly just means many atoms. So that CO3 is that one ion there. Okay. And again, for the first element, simply name the metal. So our metal is potassium. And then we would hit next. And here's a list of common polyatomic ions. And so for the second part of the name, you just simply find the polyatomic ion and name it. So our polyatomic ion is CO3. And if we look on our list, we find CO3 right here. Okay, so there it is. And so that's called carbonate. So our compound is called potassium carbonate. I hope everybody's doing okay with that. So submit, and then all you have to do is submit another response, okay? So you can use this flowchart over and over and over again. Let's do an example with a covalent compound, okay? So if we come down here, and let's say let's do this one here, okay? This P2S3. When we look at the periodic table, we can see that both P and S are on the right-hand side of the periodic table, okay? So there's no metal in there. I would say no. Is hydrogen the first element? No, it is not. Hydrogen is not in there at all. So we keep going. This is a covalent compound! Exclamation point! Okay. So covalent compounds are made of two nonmetals on the right side of that staircase in the periodic table. And so how many of the first element are there? Look at the subscript for the first element. Okay. So our first element is P, and if we look at the subscript there, it's a 2. Okay. So we've got more than one P in that compound. All right. So for the first element, use a prefix for the element's subscript to tell you how many there are. Okay. So if we look at this one, there's 2 P's. So our prefix is going to be di. And so it works with P is phosphorus, so we call phos-4s. I had trouble spelling that for a second, sorry. So it's diphosphorus. Okay. And then for the second element, we do the same thing. We just put that second element's subscript in front of the element's name. And I forgot to write that we put, change the ending to "ide," okay, for the second element. We almost always do. So, but it will be 3 sulfurs. So 3 is tri, and so it will be trisulfide. I hope this helps. There is a heavy version and a light version. This particular flowchart right here is the heavy version that's in the announcements. So it includes transition metal naming and it includes acids, okay? So if you need some practice with stuff that's not quite as intense as transition metal, ionic compounds, and acids, there's the light version, okay? And so that's just your simple ionic and your simple covalent compounds so that it's, a little bit less, a bit fewer choices. So if you need a little, to take a step back and think about just those 2 types of compounds at first, that's fine, okay? If you need anything, please let me know. I hope this works for some of you.